Hey guys, what are you expecting today? Because whatever you expect, that's exactly what you're going to receive. Before I go any further, check this out. Ding, 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 you want $1 million. Now what? Okay, so this is on a napkin that I pulled out of the bag a couple of days ago. It sits here on my desk. And what would you do if you had $1 million, right? If you think about it, what would you do with it? Well, we have this ability, conditioning, to wake up in the morning and say, where's the money? Like, where's the money? And we look at things for their face value, meaning for what my account says, okay? And you might say, my account says. Yeah, your account is speaking to you. You know what it's saying? Your balance is minus $35. Because when you read it, what you read, it's actually speaking back to you. So you're reading it, you're looking at it, but you're reading it, and it's as if it's speaking to you. All right, so let me just share with you this experience and what I mean by it. I just came from a trip. Well, not just, but it was 2 weeks before. I came from a trip, left my luggage in the living room, and I kept pulling things out of the luggage every day until one day the luggage began to speak to me. But of course, it was my own thoughts. So I had this conversation in my mind. Well, you know, your friend so-and-so, she always puts her luggage away. You know, you used to be a different person. Do you remember the times when you were young and you did this and you would rush and fix this up right away? And I just kept going and going and going, and like just I was ending up who knows where I was going to end up if I didn't realize and catch myself with this self-talk. And I said, wait a minute. I said, this luggage is talking to me. Of course, it was my self-judgment, self-talk, self-judgment. And I said, you know what? I said, I'm actually packing you. We are going to go on another trip. Yeah. Go on another trip. I'm actually packing you. I was pulling this belt out, and I was saying at the same time, I'm actually packing you. I was saying the reverse. I was flipping things around. I was using my perspective. I was changing the perspective. I was changing the reality. This is the power of bending reality. This is when you have the power. That's the power of bending reality. And it just came to me now. You have the power to bend reality. In the moment when you catch yourself, hey, you've got balance minus $35. Catch yourself in there and flip it before you finish the whole sentence. Okay? This is when you bend reality, or you flip it. I said, yeah, you know what? We're going to go on a trip. And I've allowed myself to just say, go on a trip. And all those negative thoughts just went away. It was an hour later, maybe half an hour, 20 minutes later, a friend of mine calls me up. And I was in such high state of mind that I said, yeah, I'm going on a trip. And just the thought of being on a trip again was exciting to me. So I heard myself saying, hey, why don't we do something spontaneous? I'm not a spontaneous person. I'm a very calculated, very logical person. So that could work against me a lot. But I said, hey, why don't we do something spontaneous? Because on the vibration that I was in, I was in a different vibration, different energy, different image. And so it was a different conversation. Everything changed about me. When I said that, he turns around and says, hey, you know what? I haven't been to the beach in a long time. You want to go to the beach? I go, yeah, let's go to the beach. Next day, the same day, he calls up and says, okay, I've made the reservation here. Everything's paid off for you. Let's just go have fun. So 5 days later, I was on the beach. What's more interesting is that I had on my vision board 2 people walking on the beach. And I imagined seeing myself lifting up a white dress and kicking the water and the sand with my toes. Well, a couple of days before I went on the trip, I went to Target and I found this beautiful bohemian white dress. This is inside out. No, actually it's right. It's got a little thing here and it's very, very long. And I found myself on the beach wearing this dress and kicking the toes in the sand. As I did that, I said to myself, well, I put myself here, but when? And that's when I realized 4 or 5 weeks before this trip, I remember imagining, just sitting in the chair like this, imagining, oh yeah, being on the beach and I could see my feet just kicking the water. And it came. Well, now, if we're going to look at how my circumstance was. My circumstance was that I just came from a trip. Okay, so I was in that energy of maybe traveling. Then I had, so I would say it was a momentum, but it wasn't because it was 2 weeks later. So really it wasn't. But I think that the trip was fresh in my mind. Perhaps, I don't know. But I took power, or I took my power back in the moment, because when we have this negative self-talk, you're losing power, you're losing energy. Imagine yourself as like a battery, right? And usually we have negative, or we are in minus, right? Negative, or we're in minus. We're very concentrated on the negative end. Well, the battery also has a positive. So the positive, right, is when you change your perceptions. That's, I want you to think of it as you're a battery, and when you're in the plus, it's your perspective, or it's your perception. You flip from negative to positive. So what happened with me, I've changed my perception. So I've switched the battery. I've flipped the reality, or I bent reality, and I said, you think I'm unpacking you? I said, do you want me to put you in the closet there? I said, no. I said, I'm actually packing you, and you're going to go on a trip. I spoke to that luggage like that internally, and I said, no. I said, you think I'm packing you and putting you in the closet? And I saw these images in the mind. I saw the closet and everything, and I said, no, I'm actually packing you, and we're going on a trip. And I think I might have seen myself being on the beach. I don't know. I don't remember. The reality is that if your bank account says minus 35 right now, you're supposed to look at it and say, no, you know what? You actually have this much money in the bank. That's exactly how much money is in the bank. And say it with a lighted heart, meaning don't go into the heaviness of not having it, because you cannot manifest when you hold on to that negative, right? Because whatever you're holding on to, that's what you're going to keep on getting. So the negative on the end of the battery is when you look and say, well, my account is negative, or he doesn't love me, or this is not working out. And you're holding on to this, and then you're trying to raise your vibration or your thoughts, and you feel pulled back, and you raise your vibration, you feel pulled back. And what do? Well, it is a fight if you make it a fight, but you can also flip it. And you flip it when you don't chit chatter and you don't enter into these conversations anymore. Meaning you shut off your bank account, your computer, and if you're still thinking about that minus, that means you're still communicating with it. You're enticing yourself. You're allowing it to upset you. You're allowing it, you're romancing over it, but in a negative way. So the secret is to ignore it, to dissolve that image in your mind, and to keep flipping it to what it is you want. Constant, flip it. Now, this sounds like a battle, right? It's not supposed to be. So all it takes is one experience. All it takes is one testing. All it takes is something like that. And then if you say, well, I want to have $1 million, then what I would say is, when you think about money, what would you do with the money? Because it's not money that you need. Think about it. We exchange money for milk, we exchange money for shoelaces, we exchange money for rice, we exchange money for a computer. So money is a form of exchange. What would you like to have instead? So for me, I could have said, well, I want to have money to go on vacation, but what I've wanted was the experience of being on the beach. And I had no money. So everything was paid for me because I wanted the experience. What is the experience that you want, right? You know that we are here to have experiences. So what is the experience that you want? What is the experience that you want? So that's what I want to leave you with. And not just that, but I want you to think of it this way. Every worker is worthy of his reward. When you this work that you do and flipping your perception, or flipping or bending your reality, this work that you do, every time you flip your reality, you are worthy of the reward. You are worthy of $1 million in your bank account. You might be minus 35, but you are worthy of $1 million. You know why you're worthy? Because you're doing the work. You keep flipping it. So every time you keep flipping or bending your reality, you are worthy of the other side of it. You are worthy of what's behind the door. You're worthy of it. Where are you worthy? Here. If you allow yourself to see it, you're worthy of it. That's it. There's no question about it. We don't seek our identity out there. We don't seek the money out there. We seek it in here. So you are worthy of the number that you see within. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye now.